What is up, my dudes? This is Trent with the Fantasy Football Dudes podcast. Today's episode is brought to you by our friends over at Sleeper. Sleeper is the absolute best place to play fantasy football. You should take all your fantasy football leagues there. Head over to Sleeper, enter promo code DUDES100, and they will match up to $100. They got the dynamic payouts. It's a great place to play fantasy football, and they got all kinds of, prop sports, DFS sports, all that good stuff. Today, I am joined by Phill. Jordan, I believe, is on his way. He was having some Wi-Fi issues. Seth he's sleeping in a hospital room right now. I think should we just keep it at that and let people wonder what it is? Like maybe he had a surgery, maybe he's recovering. There's a lot of things, but Seth is in a hospital right now. So, it's probably very uncomfortable. No, Seth's wife had their baby. So that's why Seth's
Congrats
there.
to Seth.
Congrats, Seth. Curse is broken. There's a boy on the pod now. There's my baby boy.
Go.
So good for Seth.
Congrats to Seth. That's awesome.
Congrats. And Jordan should be getting it. Most importantly, it's week one, Phill.
It is week one here. But hear me out. Jordan was not completely happy that his Wi-Fi was out. He was a little bit, he was
pretty upset.
He was pretty upset, and he directed a little bit at us. Even though, it's not like I took the fiber optic cable out of his nearest Wi-Fi, right? I had nothing to do with it. But he was a little bit upset at us. But here's what I will say. It wasn't my fault again. But I will say that he should be glad that it's being figured out today rather than being figured out tomorrow when there's a game on. Right? Like, he has a big week coming up of NFL football. Isn't he happy that it got figured out now? He may even get faster speeds out of this whole deal because of this incident, right? He is in a better spot to be able to live stream football now than he was 2 hours ago when the internet went out. You get what I'm saying?
Maybe.
I'm thinking about glass half full situation here, which I don't think people think about often. And I think that's the difference between you and me. I'm an optimist, and you are, I don't know, glass half empty type guy.
It's true. So we're going to kill a little time here for Phill before Jordan gets here. Kickoff party, Phill. I'm having a couple guys over. Doing the smash burger tacos. It should be good. So it'll be good. Jordan will not be happy about it. I'm not even going to say it on the pod after this. He can listen to it. It is Thursday. If you're listening this right now on Thursday, I am in jury duty. So that's a bummer. So it's not the greatest day, but it's also,
You're in jury duty?
I got jury duty. I got the nod. Uncle Sam called me up to the big leagues. We'll see what happens. We'll see if I get in there, looking for a full Judge Judy experiment here. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. So we'll see if I get picked. Maybe not.
You just have, did they say you have to go in, or do you just call?
I have to go in. I've called in 2 days in a row. I'm going in.
I got and the nod. Said, sir, we're coming you in for relief pitching.
They're bringing in the closer. That's all I got to say.
Nothing would make me happier than you being on like a 6-month-long trial.
That would be brutal. I have been on a 2-week-long trial before, but let's not talk about
so you have been in
I've been in there before. Yeah.
To know that my hands, the fate of either me going to jail is in your hands, it's alarming. Just like, are you going to be watching the game with your father on Sunday? Like, what's the plan? Because I know you and your dad will watch games together every once in a while.
Yeah, it's my wife's birthday this weekend, so I'm not sure how much I'm going to. I'm going to watch as much as I can. My wife's birthday, is on Sunday, so we watch. And there he is, man of the hour, Jordan. Where are you right now?
I'm in my dad's office.
There we go. Clap it up for the commitment.
Yeah, that's good.
Clap it up for the commitment.
Yeah. Seth could have hopped on and wherever he's at.
Jordan, we were talking just a second ago here, and I thought specifically that you really need to look at this as a glass half full situation. And here's what I mean by that. You will now have better internet than you did before, likely. Okay. And you're going to be watching the game. That one. You're going to be watching the game at Trent's tomorrow, I assume. And then it'll be fixed and ready to go by the weekend. So the nice thing is you've already got the issues resolved before the football season started. You could have been in a bad spot.
I would have been upset on Saturday morning if I would have waked up to college football and there'd be no internet.
What would you have done? Buffalo Wild Wings doesn't open till 12. What would you have done?
I don't know what I would have done, Phil. I'm glad I don't have to cross that bridge.
Yeah,
The Kingsburg Golf Course is open for breakfast. I'm sure they have TVs. Or excuse me, the Inuba Golf Course.
All I know is that I walked in and all I heard was Trent say, "I may not watch many games on Sunday," and I almost wanted to log back off and go back home.
Yeah. No, my wife's birthday comes at a spot where every once in a while he's on the very opening day of the NFL. Normally it's the Thursday night. It's not as big of a deal. So I'll get some in, but who knows what activities and stuff I'll have to have.
Trent, you got to do the birthday dinner on Saturday.
Yeah. I tried, Jordan. I tried to plan the birthday party, but it doesn't always get to work.
And your wife has a big birthday. Is it a big birthday? Is it a big birthday, Trent?
Dirty 30.
Yeah, man. So it's a big birthday.
Yeah. So
don't botch this. I feel like you have to kind of go big for 30, huh?
So if I'm out of town at the coast, is it bad to have my wife drive home so I can watch RedZone on my tablet? That's what I'm asking. I've done that before in the past, and I'm thinking I might do that again.
Driving back on her birthday?
We're going Saturday, coming home Sunday. So is it bad if I just say, "Hey, can you drive so I can watch football?" Because I'm for sure going to have, my earpiece in where I can listen to RedZone while I'm driving. That's a given. But is it acceptable to be like, "Hey, I know it's your birthday. Can you drive 2 hours so I can watch RedZone in the passenger seat?"
Honestly, that's a gift to her to not have you drive anywhere with your whole family in the vehicle. That's a good point. I've driven with you. She might be like, "I thought you would never ask. Hand me those keys." So actually, I think you might be gifting her something by being a little bit of a deadbeat. So I'm for it. I am 100% for it.
Okay. No.
Just like in the same way you supported me, I was on a flight sitting in a single spot. My wife was next to my two youngest, and then my two older ones were sitting right next to each other. And they were just not having a good time. The little one was just causing a ruckus on the flight. And I texted Trent. I was like, "I'm currently sitting solo right behind my family. Should I turn a movie on, or do you think that's insensitive, seeing as how my wife is dealing with a crying baby?" And Trent was the angel on my shoulder, and he said, "Turn that movie on, my guy." And I did. So I am here to say, let your wife drive. I think she would appreciate it.
So, and that's the thing, is it's like, maybe I need to drive extra bad on the way down there, maybe swerve a little bit, maybe take out a couple caution cones. I don't know. Maybe act very tired on the way home. Maybe I have a migraine. There's a lot of ways I could play this out to be able to get to watch from the passenger side. So
the only problem is then you have to pass snacks back. That is one of the hardest jobs on a road trip. I don't know how much snacking your kids do on road trips. My kids do a lot. That I also get car sick. So when my kids are asking me to pass back 19 different things, I'm like, dude, I'd rather drive. Yeah. I get so car sick.
Trent, I have a question.
I'm a man, so I don't get car sick. So I can just pass snacks back, and it's not that hard. What, Jordan?
2 questions. Is it the kids going or no?
Yeah, kids are going too. So, yeah.
I was going to, you could always just do the old, okay, well, I'm just going to be on my phone the whole time driving back, got the RedZone watching.
Well, I'm driving. Yeah. No, there's a way that I could, yeah.
And then she's probably just going to drive. But you might
shake out better than I think.
You might make her mad on her birthday though, and that's not good either.
Yeah. No, but here's the thing. My favorite, and it usually works for about an hour now. It used to always work for half the day, is I'd tell my wife, if she asked me to do something like, "Hey, can you take out the trash?" I'd be like, "Yeah, I'll do it on the commercial." And it'd be RedZone. That, that's a classic one for a newly married guy that's wife doesn't know what RedZone is. "Yeah, I'll do that on the commercial." And then they realize, it's commercial free. Yeah. So
you should just be like you're listening to a parenting podcast or a sermon on parenting or being a good husband, and then you're just listening to RedZone the entire time.
I don't think any of those things are believable, but that is a good idea. So let's jump into these games. We got our week 1 preview here. Week 1 preview.
Seth also gave us his picks. Go ahead.
Seth gave us picks?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Okay. Week 1 preview is brought to you by Underdog. Head over to Underdog, guys. It's going to be crazy right now. I think, Jordan, they're matching people up to $1,000. Is that true?
That's what I saw. $1,000.
Matching people up to $1,000. All you got to do is enter the promo code DUDES. Match up to $1,000. It's never been a better time to join. We got the NFL Kickoff right now. A lot of free squares. I think there's a Travis Kelce over a half a yard there's a bunch of free squares. Go check it out. Also, Jordan and Seth did a prop show earlier this week. Go check that out on YouTube at tffdudes. That is only going to be on YouTube. So you'll want to give us the sub, give us the like, all that good stuff on YouTube. And that will be coming to you. I think we're thinking every Friday or Saturday, whatever works on that. So head over to check that out. They also did a Thursday prop play video as well. So there won't be too much props on this show because Jordan and Seth already have that handled. So, you got double the amount, of episodes here. Monday, I will be coming back with a waiver wire. Tuesday, I'll be coming back with a waiver wire pod. You won't want to miss that either. That'll be available on YouTube and whatever you listen to podcasts. So remember, don't be rude. Share the dudes. Really helps us out. So Phill, we're going to kick this off. We're going to throw it over to you. We got our we got our starts. We got our sits. We got our picks. Some other game news and notes. And so let's kick it off, Phill.
Let me ask one real quick before we get into it. So what do you guys think about this? I think maybe we did this last year. What about just a point system, right? So if you win the week, you get a point, and if you don't win the week, you get nothing. And then we just add them up at the end of the season. Or if you win the week, you get 2 points. The second place gets 1 point. Losers get nothing.
Yeah. I think we did that last year.
I mean, Phill, last week.
Okay, so we're sticking to
last year.
Yeah.
Cool.
So we'll do that with second. So
cool.
So Phill, you got the lines. Yeah. Sleepy over here.
Let's get into it. All right. So tomorrow, big game. We have Ravens at Chiefs. Current total right now is 46.5. Chiefs are currently favored by 3. Jordy, I know this is a game, or at least I believe this is a game that you are excited about. You also have a start in this game. Do you want to talk about the Chiefs wide receivers?
Yeah, so I do have I have Rashee Rice, Xavier Worthy as starts. Couple different reasons here. Like, I think this Ravens defense, they lost Mike McDaniels, right? He's the head coach now for the Seahawks. One of the best defensive coaches in the league. I would imagine their defense was like really, really good last year. I would think they'll regress a little bit back. I think they'll still be good, but I think they are going to regress a little bit. And I just think Hollywood Brown out. So you got all the passing game concentrated to Kelsey, Rashee Rice, Xavier Worthy. Justin Watson will be in a little bit, running some routes, but I do think it's going to be those 3 guys mostly. And I just really like them this week. I think I've seen Xavier Worthy like ranked in the 40s for wide receivers at some places. Rashee Rice in the late 20s. I think both these guys are like must starts this week. I think if you drafted Rashee Rice, Xavier Worthy, you probably drafted him close between the 4th and 6th round, especially with how their ADP has risen lately. So I think you're starting them this week. Again, I know it's a good Ravens defense, but I do think they regress a little bit. And I kind of like the total is a little low. I don't know. It seems a little weirdly low to me, but I think that's accounting for how good both these defenses were last year. So yeah, no, I like both Worthy and Rice a lot this week. I like the Worthy props quite a bit. Talked about that in Seth and I's prop video. Both videos actually we did this week. So really, really like Worthy. I think Rice is probably the safer play, safer start. I just think you have to start Rice if you have him on your team. And I do like Worthy. Like if you maybe have some injuries, maybe as a flex, I do like Worthy quite a bit too.
All right. Trent, anything you want to add there? Anything you want to kind of include there in terms of the Chiefs wide receivers?
No, I like the wide receivers, and with Hollywood Brown not being there, like I agree with you, Jordan. I just want to remind you, like I don't disagree at all. I just remember last year I was looking at our notes,
the debacle of last year.
The debacle of Sky Moore and Kadarius Toney start. So it just kind of chuckled a little bit seeing that. And here we are again.
But Trent, don't we think that like now we know Rashee Rice?
Oh yeah,
how good he is. Like,
yeah,
don't you feel better? You feel better about Rashee Rice and Xavier Worthy than I do Kadarius Toney and Sky Moore, right? Like thinking about that, we were reaching. That was a total Patrick Mahomes thing. This year, like I just think those guys are actually good and talented, and I do think Mahomes kind of wants to show that off too, right? Like I think he's going to be willing, and I still think that Ravens defense is going to be a lot better against the run. I think they'll still be pretty solid against the run. I think the Chiefs got to throw a little bit tomorrow night.
Yeah. No, it should be a good game. On the other side of the ball, we got the Derrick Henry debut playing for the Ravens. Lamar, Mark Andrews, Zay Flowers. I don't know. I think it's a good game. I'm more excited for, I kind of like, if you could pick in the perfect world, the NFL, like opening game, I think I would have rathered like Lions and Rams been the kickoff game, but I know it's always the Super Bowl champ. But I think you just, and here's another thing I want to say here. This is week 1. So I don't think you should do anything too crazy with your guys, like reaching for starts and sits. Kind of how I look at it is, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but how I look at it is you kind of got to play your guys in the order they were drafted, other than there's like a really crazy matchup or something like, but I'm not looking at my lineups like, oh, I'm going to start this guy because of matchups. At this point right here, I'm almost just playing my guys in the order they were drafted. I don't know what you're doing or what your thoughts are on that, Jordan.
I agree with you. I think your flex position, especially if you have 2 flexes, right? We there's leagues, Trent, where there's 3 wide receivers or 2 flexes, I think in a 3 wide receiver and a flex, you might have that 3 and 4 if you're playing like your wide receiver 3, your flex, you might have some decisions to make, right? But I do think for the most part, you're pretty much drafting in the order you drafted, or if you like me, you have like 4 running backs to choose from that aren't really that good, and you got to pick one. There's that too. So,
okay. So Ravens side, you're playing Derrick Henry if you draft him. You're playing Mark Andrews, Zay Flowers, Lamar Jackson. Chiefs side, you're playing Pacheco. You're playing Worthy, Rice, Kelsey, Mahomes. I don't know if there's anyone else like deeper flyer you're looking at in this game.
The only guy, Trent, and I don't love his position, but I do think Isaiah Likely is interesting tomorrow night. And I do like his props a little bit. They weren't out for the prop show, but again, I don't want to talk about. I think he's interesting. I wouldn't be shocked if he has a good game tomorrow.
Yeah, I want to wait and see a little bit more with Likely, see how involved he is before I plug him into a lineup. But I've always been a Likely guy. I do like him. What about that? No, what about that backup running back, Jordan, that everybody loves on the Chiefs? The fullback. You think that they play him a little bit?
The fullback. Perrine?
Running back.
Who are we talking about?
No, there's the running back on the Chiefs. He's a power runner.
From UCLA?
I don't think he's from UCLA.
Carson Steele?
Carson Steele. A lot of people have been juicing him up on X. Oh, that is UCLA guy. A lot of people really like him. Yeah. He had a good preseason. Do you think they use him situational at all? Or
no, I think they're going to use Perrine. They signed Samaje Perrine. I think he's going to be the backup.
Oh, Perrine.
Yeah, Perrine. I don't know how you say his name.
Oh man, Perrine.
Sorry, I had a Trent moment there.
That's a great snag. First off, and second off, like special teams just got upgraded with Samaje Perrine there.
He's good in pass pro too. So
I think he's going to take that McKinnon role for the Chiefs.
Mm-hmm. Chiefs are favored by 3.5. Chiefs are the home team.
Favored by 3.
Super Bowl champs and Patrick Mahomes. Looks like the Chiefs have reloaded fairly nice. Should be better.
Jordan says Patrick Mahomes is going to have a QB1 season. I think he's going with the Chiefs. Seth actually went with the Ravens in this game. Now, Jordan, before you say who you want, there was a leak of Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift potentially breaking up online.
That is true.
So just so you know, that is in the news. Okay.
That might be better for the Chiefs season, for what it's worth.
That is a good point. That is a great point. So you're going Chiefs.
Yeah, of course, Chiefs.
Okay.
Do you guys think Travis Kelce, you think they're breaking up or no?
No, I don't, but
I think it was probably fabricated. Anything that they can do to get in the news a little bit more, I wouldn't be surprised if they pulled like the what was that linebacker from? He's in the Dr. Pepper commercials. Had the mullet. Bosworth. He had those shirts that said like everyone was wearing those shirts that say like I hate Bosworth, and he was the guy who made them and was selling them. Like, so I think that it's pretty much the same type of deal here. I wouldn't be surprised if this is them actually putting it out to get a little bit more media attention for themselves. That's just my cynical thinking here. I'm going with the Chiefs.
Seth's going Ravens. I see. I always end up going against the Chiefs because I just don't want them to win, but they're just really good. I'll go Ravens just for fun. I'll go Ravens, be a little different, make the party a little more exciting.
We're splitting that one then. We have another NFC matchup that is actually happening on Friday. It is, and this is a interesting game here. They are being told flat out, do not leave the hotel to some extent. So why are we having a game there? I have no idea, but they are having a game in Brazil. The Brazil game is happening on Friday night, and it is the Packers versus the Eagles. Currently 48.5 is the spread, with the Eagles being favored, technically the home team, at 2.5. I think this game, fantasy-wise, Jordan, is going to be either absolutely trash or just fantastic, and I don't think there's an in-between. I think it's either going to go off. Everyone's exhausted. You're going to have some great wide receiver deep balls because corners are tired or wide receivers are tired, and it's going to go. It's just going to be a swing. There is not going to be the fantasy relevance here. I mean, I maybe that's kind of how you guys feel always about this, but I think that this game is going to be terrible. I would stay away from it in terms of betting.
I mean, the total says it's going to be a good game scoring wise. The total would tell you 49 total.
48.5.
40.5 now. Yeah. So it's gone down a little bit as the weeks progressed. Yeah. I mean, I the problem with the Green Bay offense is outside of Josh Jacobs, and Jordan Love, we have no idea where anything's going. I still tend to think that Jaden Reed's the best there. The most safest, the most easiest to predict. But again, I have zero idea. I think on the Eagles side, it's pretty straightforward who you're playing. AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley. You're playing those four guys. I don't know if you want to reach for Goddard, or I think Goddard's fine, and maybe Dotson. But see, Trent, like Dotson,
it's a reach.
Yeah, like shoot, like I don't know if you're
playing. Just got there.
Got there.
A lot of positive buzz though. They really like him. It sounds like.
Again, but when's the last time the Eagles with Jalen Hurts and AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, the wide receiver 3 did anything?
Yeah, no, it's true. Yeah.
So
injury away, maybe a big play. I think it's still the fact that you tell these guys, hey, you're going to Brazil, make sure you don't wear green or bad things can happen. Like, it just seems like a silly game to have in a place like that.
Well, you also saw, and Phil, I don't know if you mentioned this, there's no X in Brazil.
You're right. I didn't mention that. You're right. You're 100% right. There's no Twitter or no X, rather.
So I don't know exactly how we're getting inactives. I don't know exactly how. Are we going old school where like the team is going to email the reporters back home? But what if the reporters are in Brazil? So maybe the NFL, they're going to email the NFL office from the United States is going to like tweet it out. Like if stuff happens in game, like we all go to Twitter, right? We're going to be all waiting, or X. We're all going to be actually listening to the TV broadcast, waiting for the reporter to say something. Like, it's going to be interesting to see how that all shakes out.
This is why you don't ban free speech. This is why you don't ban free speech. Our bets are impacted by it. Our bets are impacted. We don't know what's going on in the middle of the game. This is why you don't ban free speech.
Like, what happens if things? What happens if someone gets hurt in warmups? Like, are they like? We're screwed. Like, you don't know. Who are you screwed?
Who are you more mad at then, Jordan? Like, if you had to choose, and I hope Brazil may be on your list of places to go, so answer cautiously. Do you blame the Brazilian government, or do you blame Roger Goodell for for putting you in this situation?
Can I say both?
I think that's fair. We will wipe this out if you'd like, but I think you blame Roger Goodell more. I personally blame him more.
No, you should not have a game where you tell the players they can't leave their hotel rooms. The only reason this game might be somewhat good is because there's so much pent up rage of these guys being stuck on house arrest in their hotel for, a couple days. That it's a disaster. Like, their doctors told them not to sleep on the plane, I think just so they could get used to the time change a little bit more and stuff. But it's just the fact that you can't go out of the hotel, you can't wear your team colors. It's like, hey man, like, I'm all for growing the sport, but let's not do it in places where the players could get killed. I know we play games in Chicago, but like, come on, like, this is a complete disaster. Like, this is not This is not safe here. These people don't know who they are. Like, you should not be. The fact that they don't have Twitter, yeah, hey, maybe that's a bad place to have a game. I don't know. Like, it's going to be totally different. So,
and that's a
who knows?
shockingly good point that you've brought up there, Jordan. Like, you rarely come to the table with, pop culture, shout outs, and you came to a very clutch one. So I just want to say #respect. All right. What are we taking here? I am going to take, you know what? I'm actually going to take the Packers. I'm taking Packers here.
I got Philly.
You're going Philly, Jordan. What'd Seth do?
Philly.
Okay. So here's the deal. The Eagles players have come out and they're talking like a little, like they're the ones like that are more bothered. Slay was talking about just how it's so silly that we're in Brazil playing this game. It's unnecessary. It's not safe. Like, why do they have to be there? The players really are not happy to be there. I haven't heard anything on the Packers side. So I just feel like there's a lot more rage on this Eagles side. So,
Jordan Love also grew up in Bakersfield, so I don't know.
Jordan Love grew up in Bakersfield, so maybe he's a little used to this. So I am going to go with Packers here just because it seems like they're not talking quite as much. But this should be a good game. I wish this was on a, maybe in Green Bay or in Philly, so.
How funny would it have been if it would have been like this was the one game that they were going to stream on Twitter, and like weeks before it just gets canceled. Is that game on Prime though? Is that game on Prime or what? What is it on?
I think Prime. I think it's a Prime game.
Okay. Yeah. All right, let's move on. This is the Sunday night game, so we're going to skip over to the Sunday night game, and we are going with Rams at Lions. The current total right now is 51. Detroit is currently favored by 3.5. This is a revenge game, Matt Stafford revenge game. I think this is his second revenge game in 2 years, right? Weren't they there last year for the first round of the divisional playoff? So they were there last year. Stafford is back with a much stronger team. Like the fact that they even made the divisional playoff, I think is crazy. They were just beat up last year, and they're there again this year with a lot better of a team. So this will be an interesting one. It'll also be a good test for the Lions. So revenge game, we already mentioned that. And, are they
Stafford's wife's not going to the game. She said she's not going to be booed by fans again, so she's staying home. So
maybe they'll win then. Because he's probably thinking about that, right? He wants his wife to not be getting booed. Like, I'm sure that was in the back of his head a little bit. So anyhow, Jordan, you have Jameson Williams as a sleeper in this game. So let me hear about that a little bit.
Yeah, so we got a 51 total now in a dome. We've heard a lot of buzz with Jameson Williams all through camp. He's said some crazy stuff as far as like what his goals are for the season. I just like Jameson here. Like I think he cashed in on some of that buzz. We're talking a sleeper here, right? So guys I've seen ranked in the 50s as a wide receiver this week, wide receiver rankings at some places. So I think he's going to get a couple shots down the field. He only needs to get one of those, like a 2-catch, 100 yards for a touchdown for Jameson Williams is pretty nice. His prop's pretty low at like 37.5. So I like the over on there too. And yeah, I just like Jameson Williams a lot this week. I think he gets at least 1 or 2 shots down the field. He can cash in on one of them, take it to the house on long
take it to the crib.
Yeah, he's totally capable of this. Like, if Jameson Williams doesn't do it this year, he's never doing it. But he's only 23 years old, hasn't really done much the last couple seasons. This has to be the breakout season for him, and I think it could start week 1.
Okay. I don't disagree. They drafted him to be the guy. It just so happened that Amon-Ra's been so good, and Jameson was hurt, and then he got the suspension. So, yeah, I still think he'd be really good. We were in a draft last week, and he went just criminally late in these drafts. Like, his ADP is really nice. Like, this might be the guy in a year where we're just like, man, would it be crazy to think that Jameson Williams is like this year's Puka Nacua type thing? You know what I mean? Like, he has the speed.
He's an elite talent. He was an elite talent coming out of college. Trent, if he doesn't tear that ACL, he's like a top 5 pick, right? Like in the draft.
Yeah. So no, I like Jameson Williams, and you're right. Like, he could be. The Lions traded up for him, so yeah, I like that pick. And Yeah, I don't feel terrible like starting him either. Like if you want, this would be a high scoring game because on the other side of the ball, you have the Rams, you have Stafford, Puka, Cooper Cup, Kyron Williams returning punts, all kinds of stuff like that. So yeah, I think this should be a good game. Guys, yeah, just fire up your guys on here. This is my favorite game. This is the game I'm most excited for this week. The Sunday night football game.
Yeah, it's going to be great selection for the first Sunday night game coming out of the year, right? Trent, you're probably going to miss it, or maybe you're watching it driving home.
No, this is one for sure. I think I'm going to be able to watch.
Okay, all right.
Cool. Trent, what about Montgomery?
I am playing Montgomery in the league.
Yeah,
I am.
I'm going to have hoping he falls.
You're just hoping he falls into the end zone. Yeah, I think you have to. Like, I'm going to do a poll on X here, and it was. I don't want to. I'll wait for your sit, but yeah, I think you got to play Montgomery. You got to play Gibbs, and do you play Corum, Jordan? Or you wait and see?
You can't. You wait and see. You can't play Corum this week.
Okay. I almost made it my sleeper. Guy I like is Parkinson, Colby Parkinson, the Rams tight end. I think it's just going to be all hands on deck.
Trent, like Likely or Parkinson?
I would go with the guy that's the number one, is why I would do that. I know Lamar likes his tight ends, but I know that the guy's going to be the guy on the field. And that's why I lean Parkinson, is because he's just on the field. And like the Stafford uses tight ends a ton, not really like as much as Lamar, but he's just the starting guy there. And, everyone's focusing on Puka and Cooper Cup. So I think Parkinson might have a couple catches, and we'll see what happens. So, and this offense, neither defense really worries you in this game, right? Like this should be a shootout barn burner. So I would go with that. Any other guys you're kind of seeing here in this game? Or
no, I think it's pretty straightforward.
Week one's tough. We don't have tendencies, stuff like that. So,
yeah. All right. So who we taking here, boys?
I got Detroit.
I'm going to go Detroit at home. Although, the Stafford losing there in playoffs, Rams losing there last year in playoffs, maybe they come in with a little more gas in the tank, but I just think the Rams are too good.
Yep. So let me see. Sorry, Seth is taking Detroit, and I'm also taking Detroit. I mean, the fact that you would even second guess that I'm riding with Detroit, like you should have just had that down stat. I'm riding with Detroit, as you well know. All right, moving on. Moving on here. We have both a start and a sit here. Excuse me. We have the Jaguars versus the Dolphins. Total is 49.5 with Miami favored by 3.5. Let's go with a start. Trent, let's go with your start, and then Jordan will go with your sit.
All right. This is another game I like a lot here. This game's total is really high. I got Christian Kirk. Dolphins are a track team that are come out throwing the ball. They're going to score points. The Jaguars are going to have to answer back. And I think this is mostly going to be a passing game. But I'm going with Christian Kirk. I really like all the Jaguars wide receivers in this game. Like I like Brian Thomas Jr. as well. I almost had him as a sleeper, but I didn't do that. But I think you got to fire him up. I think Trevor Lawrence has to bounce back. He absolutely has to bounce back. Jordan's wearing his jersey. 2 years ago, Trevor Lawrence wasn't that bad. He's got Christian Kirk here. I'm going with Christian Kirk as my start of the week. I think there's going to be a lot of fireworks in this game. I want to get a piece of it. So start of the week, Christian Kirk taking on the Dolphins. The Jaguars are going to have to answer back a lot. So give me Kirk. I want to play him in my lineups. Jordan, what do you think about that?
No, I like Kirk a lot. I really like Christian Kirk. I think this Jaguars offense starts to click, and I'll be honest. I think I could see them getting down in this game early. I mean, obviously, I'm going to pick them to win, but I wouldn't be surprised if they struggle a little bit here at first. But it presents opportunities for their passing game to really get going. To go to your point, Sharon, about what you said is about a passing game, I kind of see that as well. I have Devin Achane as a sit here. This Jaguars defense was a lot better against the run last year than they were against the pass. They do have a new defensive coordinator who was over at the Falcons last year in Ryan Nielsen. And the Falcons were pretty good against the run as well last year. Now, part of that might be because they just kind of kept points down in general with how they played offense. But I will say is that, again, that also means new scheme, though. Like, how do the Jaguars look week one? I tend to think that their defensive line is a little bit better with Eric Armstead coming over from San Francisco. We got a healthy Davon Hamilton, who 2 years ago was one of the better defensive tackles in the league. And so I just think that our defense will be better. I think our defensive run game will be better earlier than the pass game. I think the Dolphins lead on the pass game. I think this game would shoot out a little bit. And then you got Devin Achane in his own situation with the running backs there is that we have a healthy running backs for the first time for week one, right now for the first time, but week one, early in the year. How much they're going to use Achane early? They're going to use Mostert early. Could we see some Jalen Wright? Dolphins coach has kind of said some things about running back by committee, hot hand approach. So I think we see a pretty evenly approached running back rotation this week for the Dolphins, especially between Mostert and Achane. You're basically banking on Achane breaking off a big one. I'll gamble against that a little bit. I just think there's better guys out there for you. But you probably drafted him high, so you're probably starting him. But I don't know if he's a top 20 running back this week.
Yeah, the Eric Armstead addition makes me think that the Jaguars' defensive lines will be a lot better against the run. The thing with Achane that makes it tough is it really only takes him 2 plays. It only makes him 2 plays, and he could take one to the house. You know what I'm saying? So that's the only reason where you might get.
No, I know you're gambling. Yeah. I'm gambling against that a little bit, right?
Yeah, I think it's a good gamble.
Yeah, no, I think so too.
Yeah, you're firing up your Tyreek. You're firing up your. What do you think about Waddle, Jordan? Just because of the passing situation this whole game?
Yeah, I think I like a passing games both ways. I think Evan Ingram is going to have a really big year. I like him week one. Brian Thomas, Gabe Davis is probably the guy I like the least from the Jaguars. ETN's okay. He's probably fine. He'll get passing down and work. Yeah, volume should be there. So,
I will save Tank Bigsby questions for a few weeks down the road to see what ends up happening with that whole situation. Yeah, I like both QBs. This is another one. This isn't a primetime game, I don't think.
No, but it's a real high total though.
I liked what Tyreek Hill said. He's ready to go for fantasy football. He's not letting anybody down. Just put himself on the injury report basically to get everybody worried about him on their fantasy lineups. I am going to go with this game. Who's the home team here? Dolphins are at home. I'm going to go with Jaguars winning this game.
Jagstag. Mm-hmm. Seth took the Dolphins. Jordan, I think you're going 3-1 here. I'm going Dolphins as well.
I took Jaguars.
Taking the Jaguars.
Oh, sorry. Okay, you're going 2-2 then. I'm assuming you're taking the Jaguars.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. We now have the Colts versus the Texans. Current total is 48.5. Houston is currently favored in Indianapolis at 2.5. We don't have any starts or sits in this game. I think we can take this one a little bit quick. Probably just starting your main dudes here. But is there anything specific that you guys are wanting to mention here briefly before we get to the next one?
I'm excited to see Anthony Richardson get after it in this game. I want to see what he can do. CJ Stroud, see who he goes to. Stephon Diggs came out and talked about all the guys that, kind of how he's forced his way out, how he gets the ball, stuff like that. He wants the ball. He wants to be the leading guy. So we'll see if he can we'll see how this works, how Stroud handles this. I don't know. Maybe I'm just excited for all football. Maybe that's the thing. But I am excited for this game too. But I've said that every single game. So probably be watching this on my phone in my wife's car. But you're playing all your guys. Jonathan Taylor, Michael Pittman,
Tay,
Stroud, Joe Mixon. I don't know if I like the Mixon matchup as much, Jordan, with Colts. It's not terrible. It's just whatever. And play your guys. I don't know if there's anything you want to add on that, Jordan.
No, I just I guess you're playing all the Texans wide receivers, Dells, Collins, Diggs, and just hope it's the right one. So that was kind of my only question. You're probably playing all three. I think Dell would be the one. And I like Dell though, so I don't know. It'd be very interesting to see how Stroud, what it looks like, what their offense looks like. Yeah, you're playing Richardson, Taylor, Pittman. Real quick, Sharon, I just want to plug Underdog again. I know we kind of plugged them earlier, but I don't know if you guys saw this. They have this vulture protection now. I think the Colts are a good team to kind of showcase that. So if you were to have Jonathan Taylor anytime touchdown, and then they were getting the goal line, and Anthony Richardson were to score, you get vulture protection. And as long as let's say that was 1 out of 3, your other 2 hit, but your Jonathan Taylor anytime touchdown didn't, because Anthony Richard vultured him within the 5. I don't know what the exact parameters of vulture is. You get your money back with a free entry. So
yeah, I wonder if it's just backup running back. Like if Kyron Williams gets down to the 1, then Corum scores. I wonder if
it's other positions besides running back.
Okay.
So not running back. So it can't be the backup.
Yeah, it can't be the backup. It's other positions besides the running back.
Gotcha.
So it's like a running back. So it could be like Saquon Barkley with Jalen Hurts. Maybe like Brian Robinson or Eckler with Jaden Daniels. The Ravens running backs with Lamar Jackson, stuff like that.
Okay.
No, that I actually really like that. That's cool. I'll definitely be looking into that. This game maybe has the most question marks, whereas how does Stroud handle all his weapons, which I think he'll be fine. It's just the question marks is who's the weapon over there in Houston? And then on the Colts side, it's what are we getting out of Richardson?
Can he throw the football?
Yeah. So there's that. It's just kind of 2 questions, some young quarterbacks, same draft class, but they play each other all the time. So yeah, a lot of AFC South matchup here. I am going to go Texans win this one. I'm going to go Colts. I'm going to go with the home team here.
I'm going Texans. So did Seth.
Well,
cool.
Phil, we have a mute button there for everyone there who doesn't like the coughing. Not to be a jerk. Sorry.
That's jerkish. That's on brand for you. You're kind of a jerk. When I'm looking up stats and I'm looking up players at the same time, I don't always have the opportunity to go ahead and hit the pause or the mute button. So you know what? Forgive me for being a human, Trent. All right, moving on here.
I know you're being a little sick. I'm just letting you know.
There we go. Thank you. I hit one for you. I actually just did
perfect.
Just a is it mute?
Yeah.
So, there we go.
I don't know how to use it. So way to go.
All right, moving on here. Or were you going to intro this one? This is my job. I don't know if you knew that.
Go.
All right, moving on here. We have the Cardinals at the Bills. Current total right now is 48. The Bills are currently favored by a tutty, 6 points. That's what the number would be. This game, honestly, to me, I have zero interest in it. We have no starts or sits, but if you guys want to talk about just, Josh Allen no longer has Stephon Diggs. We know that Kyler's back. Big game for Marvin Harrison Jr. What are we talking about here? Is this I don't even know if this is a prove it to us game, but this is the first time we're going to see him, right, in an NFL uniform.
I want to see Shakir and I want to see Keon Coleman. That's who I want to see here. And Kincaid. Bills offense, a lot of vacated targets. I think there's a lot of fantasy potential here. I want to know who it is. Cardinals side, I want to see Marvin Harrison Jr. I want to see how he does it. We got DeMar Hamlin starting at safety. He's no longer running fake punts anymore. So we'll see how he can do, in that secondary if he gets any picks.
Should we start calling him MHJ? Marvin Harrison Jr. MHJ.
Yeah, you could. I think some people do that. Yeah, it's a good nickname.
Oh, do some people do that already?
Phil, that's what I have it written down as my notes. MHJ. That's pretty common. When you write his name.
Did you guys talk?
Most people say MHJ.
Cute. All right. Not all thoughts that I have are original, but that's okay. It was original to me. I just didn't know that everyone called him that. All right, Jordan. What do you want to say in this game here? A little MHJ?
Not much. Not much. Marvin Harrison Jr. It's the obvious guys. Kyler Murray. I think you're playing James Conner this week. And then you got your Josh Allen's, your Dalton Kincaid, your James Cooks. I think the wide receivers are interesting, like Trent said. I think it's Shakir over Keon Coleman for me right now. I think he's a little more safer. And I just don't know what Keon Coleman's role is going to look like right now. So Curtis Samuel's there too. I still like Shakir out of all of them. Shakir was good last year for them. So, but pretty straightforward game for me.
Shakira.
Fire up McBride.
Oh, and
Maybe the
McBride.
top-
I don't know why I didn't mention him, but
maybe
yeah.
the top 2 tight ends in fantasy football right now potentially could be.
Yeah.
It wouldn't shock you if
Yeah.
those were the guys. I want to see Kyler back, all this stuff. So yeah, give me the Bills.
I'm gonna take the Bills, but I'm gonna be honest, it would not shock me if the Cardinals win this week. And the Bills are a pretty popular survivor pick, and they scare me a lot this week. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm gonna take the Bills. I think they do win, but I do not. The fact that they're favored by 6 feels too much to me.
Yeah, I do like James Conner in this game. Like I like the Cardinals off. Like you talk about all the pieces that the Bills lost on offense and vacated targets between Gabe Davis and Stephon Diggs. They lost a lot of key pieces on that defense as well. They lost their safeties, right? So now Hamlin's starting. What's the guy's name who went down to Florida? So yeah, and then Moano's a little banged up too. So I think the Cardinals can run on these guys, and I think they can throw them too. This could be a really good shootout game that could have a lot of fantasy implications. And we just, all the pass catchers are just so young. But yeah, I'm taking the Bills.
Seth also took the Bills. Should I be the one that just goes for the Cardinals?
Yeah.
I'm gonna rip one off. I'm gonna rip one off.
Please
and
don't.
We'll just see. I'm going Cards.
Cards up.
All right.
Next, Phil.
The next game that we have is the Titans versus the Bears. The current total right now is 45.5. Chicago is favored by 4. This one is listen, I saw a little bit of the Bears in the preseason, got really excited about Caleb Williams. That is probably what I'm most excited about in this game. We have no starts, no sits in this game, but I think it's going to be fun. What do you guys want to say? A little Dunze action you're probably excited about a little bit?
DJ Moore. And on the other side, I'm going I want to see the running back situation in with Tennessee. I want to see who gets the ball. I want to see if Pollard's what I thought he was, the last couple of weeks, if he's the goal line guy. Levis, a lot of people are getting excited on Levis too. And I'm not saying like people are drafting Levis. There's been a lot of buzz on X about people being like, could Levis be that guy that kind of takes this next step this year? So I think better offensive minded coach.
The guy can chuck. The guy can chuck.
Has his own mayonnaise cologne. So yeah, I think I'm going with Bears on this one, obviously, but DeAndre Swift. This could be a good DeAndre Swift game too. But
I think this is kind of a tough matchup for Caleb Williams week 1. The Titans secondary is pretty improved. They brought up Ladarius Needs from the Chiefs.
It's true.
I don't love the matchup. A lot of people talk about Titans being one of the better secondaries in the league. But I don't really know if I like the Titans to win this game either. But tough matchup for DJ Moore, Keenan Allen. I think Keenan Allen might be the best. I think because Dunze and Moore are going to be dealing with guys on the outside a little bit more. Don't really like Hopkins. I mean, Hopkins and Ridley, you're playing them probably. I don't like the running backs in this game. If you think the Titans get down, I think Spears is always fine, but I don't know if you're using him week 1. I have a ton of Spears, so I want him to be the guy there. I don't know. There's not much to say here. But it's week 1. Rookie quarterback is good. I think Caleb Williams is going to be. It's still his week 1 debut, and who knows, against an improved secondary, some good talent in that secondary.
Yeah, I'm going to go Bears.
I got Bears.
Phil.
The Bears. Let me see Seth's real quick. I think he went to Bears too. I know he's a big Caleb Williams guy.
Huge.
Yep, Caleb Williams. He is going with Caleb Williams as well. All right, cool. So moving right along here, friends and folks, we have the Commanders at the Bucks. The current total right now is 44. Tampa Bay is favored by 3. And Trent, you have a sit in this game. I'm going to let you talk about that.
All right. I actually really like this game. Washington had a terrible defense last year. The Bucks had a terrible secondary last year. So you got Jaden Daniels, who could be thrown around a little bit here. Baker maybe he's thrown on the other side. I think it's a good Rachaad White game, but I have Brian Robinson as my sit here because the Bucs actually were really good against the run last year. I think if Washington's going to have some running back success this game, it's going to be Eckler. So I'm putting Brian Robinson as my sit this week because I just think this game's going to be, I think there will be more points scored on this than what, like if we were taking over under on the points scored, I think I would go over on this. And I think that plays more into Eckler's role. So for that situation, I'm going Brian Robinson as my sit of the week. I don't know what you guys think of that.
No, I like it. I like this game for the passing games as well, Trent. I think the total also goes over the 44. It's 44 still. I have 44. I don't know if it's moved up or down since then.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I like the game as well. Both passing games. I think Evans, good spot. Godwin's fine. I don't know. Godwin we'll see if he can have a bounce back from last year. Wasn't very good. But yeah, I like this Commanders with McLaurin. I think it's really McLaurin. I like Eckler, and I like Jaden Daniels. I think Jaden Daniels is going to use his legs a little bit in this game too. So, especially if he's dropping back, he's going to rely on his legs early in his career. So, yeah, no, I like this game quite a bit. I think it's a fun game, like Trent said. Pretty fun game, I think.
A deep sleeper here that no one had here is like Luke McCaffrey, Jordan. Is this like, could this be the game
tough
that
part
like,
with him is like, I just don't know. Like, I don't know what his role is going to be. It feels like De'Ami Brown's kind of going to vacate that or fill that vacated John Dotson role. I just don't know what Luke McCaffrey. There's a lot of buzz on him early on. Seems like it's kind of dissipated a little bit.
Tapered off. You want him to be good though, right? Like everyone just wants it to happen.
I do, and I really could use him. I have a lot of him in best ball. So it'll be interesting to see. Like, I think maybe his role increases as the year goes on. I don't know what the role looks like week 1 though.
This game could have a lot of waiver wire implications in it. Like maybe Luke McCaffrey, or the Brown. You said De'Ami Brown.
De'Ami Brown.
Yeah, maybe those guys emerge as guys that, are go-to targets at that wide receiver spot that we, people run to the waiver wires and go get them. Maybe.
Or Trent, like Jaden Daniel just balls out. And I'd be curious what his like ownership percentage is on Sleeper or other leagues. Because if, I don't know, it's tough because a lot of people draft 2 quarterbacks in a lot of leagues. So.
Yeah, I'll look it up right now. Jaden Daniels rostership. I'm not seeing. It's not coming through for me right now.
Well, give me a second.
It says
because if he does really well,
right. No,
if he does really well, at 0%.
Hold on, give me a second. I'm going to do it again for some reason.
Sleeper might be down on the eve of the kickoff. They go down. They've gone down during the first game a couple times in the past.
Yeah, it's not.
So I think they're down right now.
Yeah,
so,
same.
So no.
I can just see him getting added a lot if he has a really good first game.
Yeah. No, I don't disagree. Or even if the Bucks use who's the receiver from Washington they have there, the Fresno kid.
Oh, Jalen McMillan.
Like, what if McMillan has a really big game here? Like, I just think there's going to be a waiver ad in this game. Maybe it's the Senate, the Commanders tight end, or Ertz the starter.
He's another one I was thinking about.
Yeah.
What was that?
It's Senate, right? Is Ertz the starter
Senate,
there?
And Ertz is there, but we'll see how that shakes out.
So there's going to be something in this game, I feel like, where it's like, oh, I need to add that guy. Maybe I spend some fab there. But I'm going to go with Bucks winning this game.
I am going Bucks as well.
I got Bucks as well, too.
See. Hold on, let me check Seth's.
What do you think about Survivor poll on the Bucks, Jordan? Too risky?
Too risky.
Seth also took the Bucks.
Yeah.
All right, you ready to move on here?
Yeah.
All right, we have another revenge game. Trent, I always appreciate it. I used to dislike it, and now I love the revenge game comments that you leave me periodically. We have the Steelers at the Falcons. The current total right now is 42. Hot Atlanta, favored by 3. We have the battle of the vanilla quarterbacks. We have Russell Wilson, almost no personality, and Kirk Cousins, who Kirk Cousins has some personality. I shouldn't say that.
Kirk Chains?
He's got some chains. He's just like he's just a knight. I was saying more Russell Wilson. Like he gives like the most vanilla answers. Sometimes Kirk Cousins can fall victim of that, but then he also has the "you like that" edit. So I'm out of pocket there. I'm actually incorrect. But we have go ahead.
No, Russell Wilson tries really hard to be cool. Kirk Cousins is just himself, and he's kind of comes across as like a goober more. But I think people appreciate that, like Kirk Cousins taking his shirt off on a plane and wearing chains around his neck, whereas Russell Wilson doing jumping jacks.
Or how about when he did he basically looked like when he put his arms out when he was in Seattle, just a weird guy.
Yeah.
Anyhow, Kirk Cousins not as weird. I gave Kirk, I wasn't
not
nice
cool.
enough to Kirk there.
You'd probably hang out with Kirk Cousins if you knew him.
Probably would hang out with Kirk Cousins. You're 100% right. Go ahead, Trent. Say what you're going to say.
No,
I don't think Kirk would want to hang out with me. All right.
Hey,
so
he's just like us.
Yep. Current total right now is 42. One of the lower scores totals here. Not terrible, but Atlanta is currently favored by 3 at home. Discount on burgers, adult beverages, sodas, soda pop. They're playing in Mercedes Stadium, where it is basically the land of milk and honey for affordable beverages and food cuisine. So ultimately, I think even that in itself is a reason to celebrate. Anything we want to cover in this game? Najee? Are we talking about the Jalen Warren? Like who are we talking? Is there a big
fun fact? Fresno has a direct flight to Atlanta now, so this would be
cool.
That would be a good opportunity where tickets are actually pretty reasonable to watch games in that stadium and get food. So not a terrible option there. But,
Atlanta is literally the biggest airport. The fact that it's taken us till 2024, basically the Wright brothers created flight in 1902? No, that's way before that. No, when did the Wright brothers create flight? It's taken Fresno that long to get a flight directly to Atlanta. What do we think in Fresno Yosemite Airport?
No, that is fat. Fresno Air Traffic Terminal.
That is just like right. I'm looking up Wright Brothers.
It's like 1870 something, 1880.
I actually for a sleeper, I like Darnell Mooney here.
Oh, I was not wrong. 1905. Wait, hold on.
This is why you should use ChatGPT, Phil, because you don't have to go through 18 million different links to figure out what it is. Plus, you struggle with reading, so
1903 flew their first power aircraft in December 17, 1903. I was not wrong. I was within 2 years of range.
No, that's very good. That's very good.
I'm. It's week 1, baby. I'm on it. So Fresno, fat airport, whatever it is. Why have you taken so long? It's the largest airport in America. Just get people there. Actually, not largest, busiest. It is the busiest airport in America.
Yes.
So what are you saying, Trent? What are you talking about here with this game?
If you think that Kirk Cousins is this big of an upgrade, that he's better for Kyle Pitts, better for Drake London, I actually don't mind a flyer on like Darnell Mooney in a really deep league. Also, Kyle Pitts is dealing with hamstring issue right now. I wanted to make him my sit of the week because of that. Then I thought, Trent, he might not play. So I didn't think that was right to make someone the sit of a week that's not going to play, especially for week 1. Like, come on. And also, guys,
you've matured since we first started this pod. Like,
there's only one guy who can stop Kyle Pitts, and that's Arthur Smith. And he's on the other side of the field. So maybe it's just like, PTSD for him. So maybe it's just a bad situation. But fire up Drake London. You're going to have to play Kyle Pitts if he plays. If he's hurt, go ahead, go pick up Pat Freiermuth on the other side of the ball. Arthur Smith has had some success with Titans in the past, not named Kyle Pitts completely. But if Kyle Pitts is hurt, Pat Freiermuth is very low rostered. You can plug him in and play him in this game. I think the Falcons were decent against the run last year. You kind of might want to see what the running back situation, how it handles out. I'm looking for a big game out of Broderick, one of the Steelers offensive linemen. When I think of the name Broderick, I think of just a middle school bully. So I think that guy will bully people around. He was a top draft pick the past 2 years. So I'm going, I think I'm going to go with Steelers here, Phil. I think they go in there and shock the world. Everyone's all high horse on the Falcons. You got Bijan playing on the other side of the ball. I think the Falcons play it close. I think Arthur Smith knows that team's weaknesses. And I'm going to take Steelers win this one.
Man, you're thinking we see a Russell Wilson when he was being coached by a Pete Carroll type Russ out of this guy?
I just think that they're going to keep it close with their defense. They're not going to make mistakes, and I think they figure out a way.
I am going with. Sorry, I'm looking at Seth's here as well. I'm going with Atlanta. Like Kirk Cousins, like the Atlanta team. Need some big stuff out of Bijan this week.
You basically said they were like the Golden City of America, so no one's shocked you took them.
Yeah, I really want to go to Atlanta. That's something that I'd like to do. Setherton took Atlanta. Yeah.
Jordan, you going to Atlanta? Anything you want to add?
Yeah, I got Atlanta, and not much to add. Other than I just note that the Falcons' run defense was good last year, but like I said before, their defensive coordinator is now in Jacksonville, a new defensive coordinator, new scheme. So kind of you don't really know. But yeah, I think Najee's probably. I don't know if I'm going to trust Warren this week off the hamstring injury. I think Najee might get a little more work there than maybe he normally does in a normal week. But yeah, I got Falcons winning this game.
All right. Let us move on here. We have 7 more games to basically cover. So Broncos versus Seahawks. Current total is 42, and Seahawks are favored by 6. This is a revenge game for the Seahawks organization for the Broncos revenge game for the Seahawks for giving them Russell Wilson. And so this is the game that we are starting off with. No starts, no sits in this game. It is not a Zach Wilson QB situation. Is there much to talk about? I feel like we can go quick here.
Seattle ran the least amount of offensive plays last year. They have to get better on offense. Like they automatically will be better at offense than what they were last year. So I'm interested to see how they do that. I want to see JSN, see if Ryan Grubb can get creative with him, get him in some, deep plays and see how DK Metcalf does. I even want to see their running back, Kenneth Walker. So on the other side of the ball, Sean Payton usually has running backs that catch passes. I think that maybe that was just Kamara was the guy who did that. I don't remember exactly when he was the Cowboys OC, how their running backs did. But Jaleel McLaughlin or Javonte Williams, I think one of those guys could be the guy there that's catching passes. And like this could be a waiver wire game where it's like, oh, Cam Sutton actually got a lot of passes, or whatever here, where we look at this or, so
Trent, you're
I
reaching
think this
here.
game has some.
You're reaching.
Am I reaching? You don't
right.
think
you're
that those guys
right
catch passes?
No. I did think you're trying to find stuff to say for the Broncos, where all you had to say was, I'm not playing any Denver guys. Maybe Javonte Williams, but even that's a stretch.
Yeah.
DK, Kenneth Walker.
So you don't think there's any waiver wire ads potentially that it's like, oh, Bo Nix threw to this guy a bunch. Troy Franklin caught 8 passes in this game because he was his college teammate.
Troy Franklin's going to play. Like the guy barely played. He wasn't very good in the preseason. I don't. Maybe you might be onto something, but I also just kind of feel like I'm not touching Denver this week and just kind of move on.
No, I'm more of waiting. Like those guys, like you might have a running back that catches some passes in this game. I agree. I don't want to play anyone on the Denver side of the ball. I want to see how it works out.
Yeah.
And then Seahawks guys, I don't think I'm ready to play JSN yet either.
No, it's DK and Kenneth Walker, and then you're that's it, right? There's no one else.
No Charbonnet.
No.
All right.
Not week 1. I have Seahawks winning, and I think I like them in Survivor this week.
I wouldn't be surprised if Seth goes against. Oh, go ahead, Trent.
No, that's not a bad one, Jordan. Rookie quarterback playing in Seattle, tough place to play. I don't dislike that. It's a pretty good Survivor pick.
I'm going Seahawks. Seth also went Seahawks.
I'm going Seattle also.
Which the fact that he went for Seattle, the guy struggles with loyalty. I'm just surprised he actually chose his team that he roots for. All right, moving on here. Cowboys versus Browns. Current total right now is 42. Cleveland is favored by 2.5. No starts, no sits in this game. Obviously, no Nick Chubb. What do we want to talk about? Jordan, you have anything in the running back? Oh, go ahead, Trent.
Amari Cooper revenge
game.
Amari Cooper revenge game. That's all I really have there. Play CeeDee Lamb. Play Jake Ferguson. Maybe you want to play Rico Dottle or Zeke. It sounds like Dottle's the guy. I want to maybe like this Browns defense is actually good. So maybe Dottle catches some passes. I kind of want to wait before I play Tolbert, or is that the other receiver? Is it Tolbert, Jalen Tolbert? Yeah. I want to wait and see more before I do something like that. Maybe Brandon Cooks is a deep play. Cleveland side, Njoku, Amari Cooper, Jerome Ford. Is there anyone else you're thinking?
No, Trent, just note on Dowdle, his receiving prop today was 7.5. 7.5 yards on Rico Dowdle.
That's one catch.
Doesn't seem really low in a game where they're probably not going to be able to run the football. So
yeah, young offensive line.
I also have Browns winning this game.
You want Browns at home? I'm going to go Dallas. Stick with it. Cleveland is the favorite. Maybe Deshaun Watson runs a little bit in this game.
I mean, maybe Deshaun Watson won't suck at football in this game. That might be nice.
That would be really nice.
Well, there you go. All right. I'm going with. Are we going for picks here or no?
Yeah.
I took Cleveland.
I'm taking the Cowboys. Trent, you said Cowboys. Hold on, let me look at Seth's real quick.
What's Seth?
Cowboys.
Oh, you have it, Jordan?
Yeah, Cowboys.
Okay, Seth said Cowboys. All right, moving on to the Panthers. Panthers versus Saints. The current total right now is 41.5, and New Orleans is currently favored by 4. No starts, no sits in this game. Probably another one we can kind of speed through here.
Trent, I see 4 guys playable in this game. Is there anybody else? The 4? You're going to say him, I'm assuming?
I'm going to say Olave, Kamara, maybe Shaheed. Is that one of yours?
No, I don't know.
You don't have Shaheed. That's a deep sleeper. As I say, Chuba Hubbard and maybe Deontay Johnson.
That's the 4. I think those are the 4 guys that, if they're on your roster, you're probably playing them this week, right?
Yeah.
Chuba's maybe the one that people don't play just because Saints defense historically feels like they've been pretty solid against the run. And then maybe he's like our RB3 for you, and you don't really need to play the 3 running backs because you have a receiver in the flex. But I think those 4 guys are the playable ones, right? The safest playable ones.
A lot of smoke about Taysom Hill maybe playing a lot more, getting more touches, stuff like that. I'm going to have to see that to believe it. I need to see, because backup running back for the Saints, who is it? It's, I don't
Jamal
know
Williams, right?
It is Jamal Williams. You're right. Yeah. So, yeah, I think you're right in those 4 guys, Jordan. Maybe Thielen, maybe in a deep league. He started
more guys
at
receiver season. And no, he had a good season last year.
I'd be very
interested to see how Bryce not this week. Very curious to see how Bryce Young looks though.
Yeah, no, I want to see that too. I'm gonna say, I really want to go Panthers. I really want to say Panthers win this game. It seems like it's kind of crazy, but both of these teams aren't great. I'm going to go Panthers win this one.
I got New Orleans.
I am going with this one's kind of sucks, huh? I'm going with New Orleans, and Seth is also going with New Orleans.
Chuba probably has a decent receiving prop, Jordan, I imagine, on catches.
Yeah, I didn't really look at much in that game props wise.
Yeah,
it might not even be out yet, right?
I don't know if he had a prop out.
Yeah. What do we got next, Phill?
Hold on. Do you want me to look that up for you? I was about to do that for you.
Sure. Look it up.
Okay. Chuba. He has 58.5 rushing, 1.5 receiving yards. Sorry, 1.5 receptions, half a point, or basically a touchdown, rushing touchdown, 13.5 receiving yards, 71.5 rushing plus receiving yards.
Kind of like that 1.5 receiving. Yeah, I kind of like that 1.5.
Yeah,
don't hate that one.
Cool. All right, moving on here to, is this game Mr. Irrelevant? Vikings versus Giants. Would you say that?
Yeah, Justin Jefferson, so maybe not.
Malik Neighbors. Debut of Malik Neighbors.
Fine. All right. Maybe Seahawks.
Sam Darnold, Daniel Jones. Come on, Phill.
Maybe Seahawks.
Excited about this game.
Seahawks Broncos might be Mr. Irrelevant. Right?
Maybe
Yeah,
Patriots
maybe.
Bengals.
No, but I don't know. I think that's one-sided enough where it's saucy. All right, we have a 41.5 point total. Minnesota is currently favored by 1 in New York. No starts, no sits in this game. Jordan, you kind of introed us there with the Justin Jefferson is back in full effect. We have Sammy Darnold, Trent's favorite QB,
Sammy D.
and Malik Neighbors, all kind of having a coming out party here, and just in terms of his rookie season. What are we thinking here?
No, yeah, I like both receivers here. I think there's another 4 playable guys here. I think it's Justin Jefferson, Malik Neighbors, and then the running backs are fine. I don't love them personally, but like Singletary and Aaron Jones are okay to play. Like you can play them, especially Aaron Jones. Like you're probably playing Aaron Jones where you drafted him. I just don't like those 2 guys necessarily, but I do like both receivers and Jefferson and Neighbors. Other than those 4 guys, I'm not really sure who else you're playing here.
I need to see more out of Darnold before I want to play Addison.
I agree.
Addison,
and he's been hurt. He's also been hurt.
Yeah.
So I think he probably plays, but he's been banged up.
I just want to see a little bit more out of both of these quarterbacks before I, reach out farther than that. That's what I will say.
No, I agree. There's just not a lot else there. I mean, it's particularly why I like Neighbors so much is there's just not much else there with the Giants offense. Target wise, they're just going to force feed him the ball, I think.
I'm going to go with Vikings winning this one.
I have the Giants winning.
Giants have that retro. Are their fields painted differently? They have the anniversary field. I don't know if they're wearing the throwback unis.
I'm going Vikings, and Seth, as he always does, is going with Skull. All right, moving on here. The next game we have is the Raiders versus the Chargers. Starting off with a rivalry, huh? First week, Raiders versus Chargers, 41.5. LA is currently favored by 3 at home. Harbaugh is the head coach, maybe still living in a camper. Trent, you have a sleeper in this game. I'm going to let you go and take care of that one.
Yeah, Raiders are hosting this game basically because it's in LA. Yeah, I got Josh Palmer. He's wide receiver. He's ranked as wide receiver 46 by PFF this week. This guy might be the number 1 wide receiver for the Chargers. He very easily could lead them in receptions. I know they drafted Ladd McConkey, but I think Josh Palmer is a guy that could be on your waiver wire right now, and I think he could have a very good game right here. Herbert has to throw the ball to someone, and so I'm going with Palmer as a sleeper candidate to have a good game this week against the Raiders. Last time the Raiders and Chargers played, the Raiders embarrassed them very bad. I think the Chargers come out here and play a lot better football this go around. So I got Josh Palmer as my sleeper of the week right here versus the Raiders. Herbert, I think, is going to look to him. Herbert has the most experience with him out of all his other wide receivers.
Cool. Palmer was the only guy, Trent, that I kind of had down as maybe playable for the Chargers. Like, are you touching that running back situation with Gus Edwards, J.K. Dobbins? The
Raiders defense, the only thing that stopped me a little bit was Raiders defense actually is pretty good. They finished the season very strong last year. They beat Mahomes and the Chiefs up on Christmas. They put the Chargers in absolute dummy bag. Like, I think they're to come out fired up. Max Crosby's very good. Secondary, I think, is a little underrated, but the volume has to go somewhere. Like we talk about the vacated targets in Buffalo, it might be worse in LA with, Keenan Allen being probably very similar.
No,
so I think Palmer's a guy, if he's on your waiver wire, add him. Everyone's talking about Ladd McConkey. Palmer very well could be the number 1. I was surprised he was so low in PFF's rankings, Jordan, at 46 this week. That's a very low, and I think he's a playable guy that maybe we get a touchdown out of him. I don't know.
On the Raiders side, I think it's Devontae Adams, Zamir White, Brock Bowers. I'm not playing.
You aren't touching Jacoby?
No.
So Chargers side, you would say Palmer and maybe McConkey?
Yeah, or the running backs if you're desperate. But I think I lean Gus Edwards is the best running back.
Yeah,
there.
McConkey got drafted so late. And this might be one of those where it's like after this game, we might go, oh, the starting running back for the Chargers is actually this guy. It could be, we don't know still. So, yeah, I'm going to say Raiders win this game.
I'm going to say Chargers.
I am going with, I mean, how many fights? I almost want to know, like, how many fights do you think will happen at this game?
There's more fights at the 49ers Chargers game than I think there'll be at this or 49ers Raiders game. I don't know.
You're right.
At SoFi, I don't know.
Yeah, they have pretty good security. I'm going with I'm going to do it. I'm going with the Raiders, baby.
One nation, Raider Nation.
One nation. All right. And Seth, I think Seth's going with the Chargers. All right, 2 more games, folks. We have Patriots versus Bengals. Current total right now is 40.5. Cincy favored by 8.5 at home. Like you guys said, this is a contender for might be Mr. Irrelevant outside of all of the weapons that we have there at the Bengals. And so what are we thinking here? Maybe giving some Bengals running back love here, just in terms of what we can see because they're going to be up so bad. Like, what are we thinking here?
I mean, I think it's Chase, T. Higgins, Burrow. Like, I guess
I should have said outside of starting your studs. So my bad.
Yeah,
there.
I guess Moss is fine there. The Moss Chase Brown thing is interesting. I do think as the year goes on, it'll lean more Chase Brown, but we'll see. I think he was a kickoff returner, which I don't love for a running back. I don't know if there's anyone else on the Bengals. I think on the Patriots side, it's like Ramondre Stevenson, and that's it. I don't think
maybe Polk in a deep, hoping for garbage time. Maybe. It's hard starting a rookie this early, and that situation hard to start anyone on that side. I'm going to say Bengals. I think everyone's saying Bengals. I don't think we need to say anything else on this game.
Bengals, the most popular survivor pick of the week. So
I think Seth took Patriots.
No, he didn't.
All right, moving on here. Final game, Jets versus Niners. Current total is 43.5. San Francisco is currently favored by 3.5. What are we getting here, boys?
Rodgers is back. Achilles should be good. I want to see Garrett Wilson finally have a good quarterback.
And wasn't oh, go ahead.
No, I think it's actually a decent Breece Hall spot. I know I really like Breece Hall, but this 49ers defense isn't what it was last year. Who's the linebacker that they lost in the Super Bowl? They don't have him anymore. They lost the guy to the Jaguars, right?
Eric Armstead.
And they lost to Armstead. So I think Breece Hall might have a decent game here. And other side of the ball, are you willing to start Ayuk right now? Do you want to wait?
Yeah, you're playing Ayuk.
Okay, you got to play
Ayuk.
Sure play. Okay.
Yeah.
Kittle, CMC, your main guys. The only guy I would maybe start on the Jets is Hall, Wilson, maybe Aaron Rodgers. I don't know if there's anyone else you're willing to play on that side.
You don't need Aaron Rodgers this week unless you're in a super flex. 2 QB, you might be using Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. 49ers side, play your guys, Kittle.
He was interesting.
Wasn't in a Monday night game that Aaron Rodgers tore his
it was
it's a year anniversary basically.
So this is a Monday night revenge game, huh?
Yeah. Revenge against himself maybe for tearing his Achilles. I don't, maybe a revenge game against,
I don't know.
I think like a redeem. He's trying to redeem himself on Monday.
Redeem game. Redemption.
Yeah, not a revenge game. Redemption game.
All right. What else? Anything else here?
No, I don't think there's much here.
Do you think this is a great? You're playing your guys, but this isn't like a great matchup for like Debo. It's like Jets defense is good.
So it's a 43.5 total with the San Francisco. When's the last San Francisco wasn't in that low of total games last year very much? Were they? I mean, they scored a lot of points. Like there are not many times San Francisco game was that low of total, and then you account for like how much like Garrett Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, Breece on the other side. It's a pretty low total two pretty good defenses that Vegas respecting.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna go with let's just get crazy here. I'm gonna say Jets win. I'm gonna go with Super Bowl hangover. Ayuk doesn't have his sea legs back. Trent Williams isn't quite back yet. He's signed, but I'm just gonna go with Jets with the upset here. Rodgers finally gets it done in the Bay. His childhood team.
I got San Fran.
I have. I am going with
Redemption Tour. Remember that Redemption Tour.
I'm going with my heart here, baby. I am going with the Jets, and Seth is going with the Niners.
Okay, I like the little accent you've been throwing in on this pod.
The Niners. I don't know where it came from either.
Yeah, recapping our I don't either. Recapping our starts and sits. I had Christian Kirk. My sit was Brian Robinson. My sleeper was Josh Palmer. Jordan's starts were Chiefs wide receivers. It was Devin Achane, and his sleeper was Jamison Williams. Guys, week one's finally here. This is kind of what we've all been waiting for. Get your lineup set. If you haven't gotten a trophy for your fantasy football league yet, head over to TrophySmack/dudes, 15% off your whole entire order. Not too late to get all that stuff for your league to make your party a little bit better next year. Anything else you guys want to add here?
No, I'm just really pumped up for week one. Super excited. Hopefully we all have a good week one, win our leagues, win our matchups in our leagues, cash all our props, good DFS, good. Let's have a good week one here. Very profitable week one.
Yeah. And go check out those prop videos on YouTube at tffdudes. Give us a like, give us a sub. And unfortunately, I'm going to see these two guys tomorrow, but the rest of you, take care.
This has been another episode of the Fantasy Football Dudes podcast. Remember to rate, review, and follow. For more information, go to www.thefantasyfootballdudes.com. And remember, we are sorry for absolutely nothing.